This is Muscle Central and I'm Michael Diamond. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and leave a comment. Okay, a question a lot of people ask is, who's the best prep coach out there? We got a number of prep coaches out there that are very good, to say the least. Who's the best we have out there now? Chad Nichols, who's been around for quite a while. He brought Ronnie Coleman to the Olympia throne. He also brought Big Ramy to the Olympia throne. Big Ramy went through a number of coaches, never got there with Chad. You got someone like Chris Aceto, 2001. He was working with Jay Cutler. Many will argue 2001, Jay Cutler should have beaten Ronnie Coleman, and that was Ronnie Coleman's heyday. And then a few years later, Ronnie Coleman was dethroned by Jay Cutler working with Chris Aceto. You got Sean Roden, who dethroned the great, or albeit a little compromised, Phil Heath, still great. Chris Aceto was working with Sean Roden. That's pretty good credentials. We've seen what Matt Jensen has done recently with his clients, most notably Sean Clarita and Nick Walker. He's done a hell of a job with them. Hani Rambod, who worked with Jay Cutler in his second run as Mr. Olympia. Hani brought Hadi Chupin to the Olympia throne. And now Derek Lunsford, under Hani's supervision, is now the Olympia champion. That has two Olympia champions back to back. And it looks like, in my opinion, you might see Hadi champion again. Those are really good credentials, aren't they? How do we pick and choose? Let me give some note to Milo Sarchev, who's not with him no longer, Samson Dowder, but we saw what Milo Sarchev did with Samson Dowder, and he did a hell of a job with Dennis Wolf also. Dennis Wolf was right up there, nipping at the heels of first place a few times. Now, how do we figure out who's the best prep coach out there? They all have great merit. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, these prep coaches I mentioned and the athletes I mentioned were very, very gifted. The athlete, not the prep coaches, the athletes that I mentioned, are very, very gifted. I would bet anything. Any one of those athletes I mentioned, with the exception of Robbie, he fell into a separate category, it looked like. But for the most part, any of those bodybuilders I mentioned, you can interchange them with any one of those coaches, and I'm pretty certain you would get very, very similar results. Yes, a prep coach can be a big difference for a competitor, but at the end of the day, it's not so much the prep coach as it is the competitor. Like I said, some of those bodybuilders that I mentioned and the coaches I mentioned, you interchange them, more than likely you have the same outcome. All right, that's about it for this video. If you agree or disagree with anything I've said, please let me know in the comment section. This is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.